Major Moments in Hispanic History by Hector Molina. Cabeza de Vaca. Hispanics explored North America almost a century before the British first founded. So Hispanics had more, stuff involved than British. Founded Jamestown. It mattered to them because Hispanics are foreigners in this country. Latinos have a deep roots in North America. So yeah, they're basically saying Hispanics were there first. And it's the foreigners because like the British took over, basically. LA founded in 1791. Groups of Spaniards sailing out from colonial era Mexico traveled into California and founded the city of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the city with the country's largest Hispanic population at nearly 5 million. That's a lot. Jose Marti in New York City. He spent 4 years in New York City where he wrote for both English and Spanish language newspaper. And I was reading that developing ideas will influence that he was developing ideas for US and Latin America. So basically so they can have like a relationship together. US extends citizenship to Puerto Ricans. It's basically the US extending citizenship for Puerto Ricans. Because Puerto Ricans are Americans too. First Hispanic U.S. Senator. Octaviano Larrazlo of New York, Mexico became the first Hispanic elected to the U.S. Senate Team Latino score. Mendez v. Westminster decided. The plaintiff, Sylvia Mendez, sued after being turned away from the whites-only public school in California. This one I really didn't get that much. I really didn't get what it meant. The Liguria Affair shocked Texas politics in 1948. Private Felix Loriga was killed in the Philippines as World War II came to an end. When his body was recovered and returned, the director of funeral home forbade the family from using the chapel because he feared white residents would disapprove. So basically, he couldn't have a proper funeral because of these white people. So they had to put a U.S. flag on top of it. The Cuban Revolution comes to power in 1959. Fidel Castro established a communist government that remains in place today. More than 1 million Cubans left the island as the revolution became more radical, and most of them settling in Miami, Florida. So basically, Fidel Castro started everything bad over there. Delano Grape Pickers Strike of 1965 to 1970. Filipino Latino farm workers unions joined in a strike and later a boycott of grapes in the Delano area of California to protest poor conditions. The 5-year campaign ultimately succeeded in forcing the grape producers to sign union contracts. Zoom suit riots. Authorities view many young Chicanos who favored baggy spot suits as criminals. I don't know why they would do that. So they decided to go beat them. This standard is a prime example of the discrimination faced by the Mexican American community that offers context for the Latino civil rights movement. Basically, they were beating them because they were wearing something different. What? The killing of Ruben Salazar. Oh my god, this one was kind of dark. Basically, this journalist, that was a good journalist, got killed by tear gas that came out of nowhere from a bar. I almost said. Roberto Clemente began his career before the end of segregation. Was the first Latino professional baseball to reach 3,000 hits. My bad. He played in 2 World Series, winning MVP in the 1971 games. 1986 immigration reform. President Ronald Reagan signed an immigration reform into law that legalized status of some 3 million people in 1986. Proved that passing comprehensive immigration legislation is possible. So, working something out with immigration, it's possible, and that proved it already. NAFTA signed in 1994. Mexico, US, and Canada signed a free trade agreement in 1994 that reduced trade barriers between the 3 countries. So I really didn't get that one. Unless it was the barrier thing. Maybe like a one. I don't know. I didn't really get that. Prop 187. California government championed the draconian referendum that would have made it illegal to provide public service, including schools and hospitals, to undocumented immigrants. Damn, that would have been cold. Mexican American Studies ban in Arizona. Mexican American Studies or curriculum in Tucson, Arizona polarized students' Republican political space passed legislation to shut it down. There are those in this country who feel so threatened by Hispanics that they refuse to let us learn our history. They're basically blocking us out from learning our own history, which is kind of messed up. Largest ethnic group. Latinos became the largest ethnic group in the state of California. And yeah, I will get it because like Hispanic people are mostly in California. There's a lot of Hispanic people in California. The PIB. I didn't even get this one, but to be honest, it was basically women that were working, but they were being used like guinea pigs for a birth control pill. And 3 women died. Basically, off that. But did people wanted to know that? Like for real? No. So they didn't even mind researching, which is kind of messed up. They just left them to die cold blood, which that's really messed up. Thank you.